What is up, everybody? How is it going tonight? Good old Saturday night. Tonight we are going to review the iconic classic Scream 1996. We're kind of what I'm wanting to do is kind of a little series where we're going to be doing like breakdowns of each film leading up to the release of the sixth film coming out here in March 10th, actually. So yeah, it just kind of seemed fitting to kind of do a little breakdown of each film and kind of give our little inputs and opinions on each. So I do have two guests with me tonight. They hail from the city of Angels in California, Los Angeles, and they are Larry and Curse.
Hey, what's up?
Guys? Alrighty, so yeah, it's gonna be fun breaking down this film. I know you guys really enjoy this film. I mean, I know probably a lot of people enjoy this film. The one thing I will say is like super like glad that we grew up during like this time, or that I grew up, like to me, like this is our Halloween. Like this is like, I don't know. It just watching it back even earlier, there's just every time I know I say this like a bunch. Like every time I watch it, it seems like I'm watching it for like the first time, or it just seems so fresh. It's so rewatchable. Like I feel like all of the films are, to be honest, but even the first one, like it just never gets old. So
yeah, for sure. The rewatchability is crazy on Scream. I mean, 96 is definitely the best. The whole franchise is great, but the first one is just a whole nother page.
Yeah, I kind of cop out a little bit, and I try not to watch it too much because I kind of don't want to take away from it. But I felt like that, like I don't know, as I was getting older, but like I don't know, I feel like that's not even like really justified. Like it's still great every time I watch it. So
it doesn't get old.
Yeah, definitely does not. And like I was talking to Dace, and like I was watching this earlier, and I'm just like, God, like I'm kind of blown away, like just how like it just has everything in it. Like it honestly does. I feel like Wes just did his like just ultimate homework with this. He shows great reference to Carpenter, and just it's just got everything in it. Like it has so many good references from like, Black Christmas, When a Stranger Calls. And then it also has like that campiness. It's got, the meta aspect, which is awesome. The characters are freaking awesome. The storyline is good. It's just honestly the one, two of the biggest people that I think are like the most like underrated in this franchise are obviously Kevin. Kevin is like, the mastermind behind the screenplay and everything. Like he's just like, what would 90s horror be without, Kevin Williamson and stuff? And then Roger L. Jackson, man, he kills it in his role as Ghostface. Like it's just so iconic. Like that voice, the dialogue, it's so good. It's crazy good. So
he can't sound like anything else. Like I could never imagine Ghostface with a different voice. That would just be no.
Yeah, no doubt. Like it is.
Ghostface is always somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, it's always a different person, but you have to have that voice.
Yep, I totally agree. And like kicking off this film, like holy shit, like the dialogue with I mean we'll get into it. But like yeah, it's good stuff. All right, let's see who we got in the comments. All righty. So we got my man Conrad. What's good, dude?
What's up, Conrad?
Appreciate you joining us. Of course, got Larry and Curse. We got Mrs. Shape. What's up, Nikki? What's going on? Appreciate you joining us. We got May. She said she was going to be in. Nice. What's up, May?
Hey, May.
Appreciate you joining us. Okay, so like I told you guys, definitely got some pictures and everything, and we'll kind of just go through them. But it just wouldn't make any sense to not start out the film talking about Miss Drew Barrymore. So the thing I like about this film is like, okay, I guess before we get into it, let's see. What is like your probably the most fond memory that you have with this film? Like what's just like the most memorable, or like what's that golden memory that you have with like this film?
Memory, like watching the film with like real life memory, or memory of the film?
Yeah. Do you like maybe like is it like what was like the first thing you remember like first time watching it, or like was there like a certain time where you were watching it maybe second or third time where you were just like, oh man, like, yeah, like what's just like your fondest memory when it comes to this film?
I mean, the first time it's got to be the shock of that opening kill, you know, with them using her as the face of all the marketing. You thought she was going to be the final girl for sure. You thought she was going to be like the main character, and then they just killed her off right in the beginning. Like that was a big shock, man.
No doubt. No doubt. I totally love that. And yeah, it's so crazy. We're like, so do you guys like how old were you guys when you guys first saw the film? Do you guys
I
remember?
was 9 or 10.
Nice.
I saw it right when it came out. So I think I
Nice.
was like 12. It was actually really funny. My little friend that lived a couple houses down, her uncle was a movie critic for one of the local papers. So he received VHSs to review the movies, and he lived on our street. So I don't know how she got the movie, if she just took it or he let her borrow it, but we got the movie like ahead of time because I had seen the trailers and I really wanted to see it. And we just watched it at my house one day, and I was like 12 or something. And it changed my life. Literally changed my life.
That's such an awesome story. That's awesome. Nice.
I don't know
Yeah.
how we acquired it, if it was legally or not, but oh well.
Yeah, literally, my dad, he took my buddy and I, who we were like super young. I mean, we were 7 years old, and like literally took us to go see this film. And that's the cool thing about the Midwest. Like we're like pretty laid back and stuff. So him taking us to go see this film, like it was something weird because like my buddy, he was a little more like, and like he kind of knew, like, I guess he was more in tune to like the things that were like being portrayed on the media, like, and everything. So he heard about this film, and then like he's like, yeah, we should go to it, see if your dad will take us. He did. And we're just sitting there like it was just something you never had seen like ever before. Like it was so crazy. And I just remember like going to school like those following weeks, and that's like what everybody was talking about. It was so crazy. Like everybody was talking about Ghostface. Everybody was talking about that opening scene. Like everybody was talking about that third act. Like it was being talked about pretty much, you know, for a long time. I don't know if we saw it. I'm pretty sure we saw it like right when it came out. And interesting enough, like it came out around Christmas time, which you would think, holy cow, like what kind of horror film comes out on like, you know, around Christmas? Like, is that going to be a good idea? You know, but I don't know. I think if I remember right, they said it didn't do too well right off the bat. Or is that true? Or I can't remember.
I think that's what they did say.
Yeah, I
Because
think
of
so.
the timing of it.
Yep.
It was December 20th or something like that.
Yep. So, but honestly, like I think up until 2018, I think it was like the biggest like box office like moneymaker ever. Like I think 2018 was probably the one that set the mark after. But yeah, like that's pretty crazy. Like this film like held that, you know, position for like so long, or like, you know, that highest moneymaker in the whatever, you know, weekend. But honestly, I think if it wasn't for 2018, like this is easily like the best slasher film of like the last 30 years. Like there's not even a question. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
You know, I know a lot of people too that they weren't even horror fans, but this movie was just, it was different.
Yep.
So a lot of people that weren't really big into horror actually got into horror through this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It has like good elements of just like everything, campiness, like it's just good character, you know, development. It's just like there's, you know, at times it almost doesn't even seem like a horror film. And then it's like that's the great thing about it. It's got like a good balance of like way serious moments to not very serious moments where it's just it's a roller coaster ride, but like in a good way. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we'll see what's Conrad say here. For me, it was first call where it all started, executed well. Yeah, and just opening up with like the phone call ringing, you know, or like the phone ringing, it's just like such a good way to start it. Like they just shot it really well. They definitely chose to do everything like pretty much spot on, pretty much. May says, first time I watched it, I was not expecting it to start with a brutal kill, and then for it to be Drew Barrymore at that time, total shock. Yeah, and that's what I was gonna bring up. Like, do you guys think that it was a good idea, or do you kind of like praise Drew for kind of like being like, I'm gonna go like the Janet Leigh route and kind of be that girl who, comes in and is gonna be like the biggest star kind of the cast, I guess you would say at the time.
Yeah, it was
But
great
yet,
that she did that.
yeah, but then yet like, die off like right at the
Yeah,
beginning. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Kind of
awesome.
crazy. Yeah.
Wasn't she originally supposed to like audition for Sydney or got hired as Sydney, something like that, but then
She
chose
like
to go this way?
Yeah, she like wanted to like I think she sought out
Mhm.
to like almost do like what Janet Leigh did with
Yeah,
with Psycho
Yeah.
and stuff. So that's pretty sick. Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked. It was crazy. Everybody remembers it. I mean, almost 30 years later, we're all still talking about it.
Yep. Yeah. And I think they like, the white sweatshirt, the blonde hair, you know what I mean? Like it all just like worked. It all just like that whole opening scene it's just crazy. Like I think it's easily the best dialogue of Ghostface, in any film for sure. I almost want to say that scene is like top 5 of any horror film like ever. Like it
Mhm.
just like it has to go down in history as like one of the best. And it's just the dialogue is so good where it's just like, it's starting out really slow, he's kind of talking with her, and everything. I kind of want to play this clip because because it's such a good clip. You know, you know what? We're just gonna play it because I don't think my stream will get taken down for 18 seconds. But this was always like the part where it always kind of started up, and I'm like, okay, this is way more serious than like it's kind of portraying itself to be. So
Listen, asshole!
No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand? Yeah,
Kind of joke.
more of a game, really.
love that part. Like seriously, love that part. And that's honestly like the craziest thing about the opening scene is the game that's actually, played with, her and, Ghostface. It's just and like that's what I'm saying. Like I think everybody watching the first time, you're like, when he asks the question, like who's the killer in Friday the 13th, you're automatically like, I'm sitting there 7 years old. And I'm like, I know who the killer of Friday the 13th is. Like it's Jason, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't think other movies did games kind of like that in them prior to this, really.
you said not? Yeah, I don't really think so. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it was so well executed and just like again showing good reference to, Halloween and she mentions Nightmare on Elm Street in there. And then bringing up Friday that's what I'm saying. It's so well executed. Like Wes just knew what he was doing.
Yeah, it's funny that whole line where she says that the first one was scary, the rest of them sucked.
Sucked. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that
Perfect.
whole line right there was already in the script before Wes actually took it on. He wanted to take it out.
True. Yep. Evan
Like-
had already written it in there. Yeah, that's cool. Yep. I think there's some other, I can't remember what else there was. Yeah. No, it definitely was that. Definitely one of that one for
Another
sure.
one was when they said when they mixed up the names and they said Wes Carpenter. When they
Wes
mixed up,
Carpenter. Yep.
yeah,
When
he
they're on
wanted to
the-
take that out too. He's like, no, I don't like that. But
Yep. You're sounding like a Wes Carpenter flick. Yeah, no doubt. Such a good scene too, no doubt. So do you guys like how intense like the beginning like scene like sequence was? Like do you think it was a little too brutal? Do you think it was just
No.
right?
No, I
It's
think
not too brutal.
yeah, it was
No,
perfect,
it's
man.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah, it was honestly perfect. I think I remembered hearing that they said back in the day that when they took it to the producers or whatever, or the MPA or something like that, it was like, hey, we literally only shot this like one time. We can't go back and shoot it again. We have to leave it in there. And so they let him like leave it in there, and it pretty much, the rest is history and stuff. So
No,
and I mean,
amazing.
even the Steve part is like pretty intense. Like, when they show him all cut open, it's awesome practical effects. Like I think you can kind of easily see that it's, obviously those legs aren't even his and stuff, but it's still like good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it's still awesome that the film did have like the practical effects aspect in
Mhm.
there. Yeah, for sure.
that's another one of those trick questions, like the Jason question too. People ask, who was Ghostface's first kill,
Yeah.
and everybody always goes with
Drew.
Drew's character.
Yeah. No doubt. Gosh, and just like I just love the dialogue between Ghostface and her at the beginning. Like Steve is out. Like, oh my gosh. And that's what I'm saying. Like Drew she just smashes the role. She just smashes it. Like you can just tell like how like intense the whole situation is for her and just everything. Like it's just really good stuff. Even like when, he throws a chair through the patio, door, and then you kind of see him, go into the house for the first time. You're just like, oh shit. Like, God, I just remember that costume being just like the biggest thing. Like for the next like 3 Halloweens, everybody wore, Ghostface. Like it was just, that's what it was. Like,
I think it's still big. Like my kid was Ghostface for Halloween last year, so he loved it.
Yeah, we always had that the heart pressing blood down the mask. That one was like huge. I remember when that came out, like everybody had that. Yeah.
I mean, look at our wall up here. We have it
Love
keeps
it.
going too.
Yeah, we all
I
have
love the
that.
Scary Movie one. Nice. So what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think about Kevin wanting to call it Scary Movie at first?
I think it's funny that another movie took that
Yeah,
name.
I wonder if the Waynes kind of went with that and they were like, okay, we knew it was originally going to be called Scary Movie, so we
think
kind of.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think they
100%.
did.
I think
Yeah.
that's where it came from.
I think they nailed it. I think Scream is perfect. Like I know Scary Movie could have been. It just seems. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to look at
More
it.
like, that's more like the name of like a parody movie, like
Exactly.
like
Yep.
not another teen movie or what are those other cheesy ones like Date Movie and stuff like that. Scary Movie would have just felt like it was a parody movie, not its own franchise.
Mhm.
Totally agree. Yeah. Like honestly, even if they wouldn't have done the parody movie, like I still feel like I just wouldn't take it as serious. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So then you pretty much, have the opening sequence. Awesome. I'm thinking as I'm sitting there watching it earlier, like, why didn't she just throw the phone at her parents? You know what I mean? Like, I know she, she's like kind of like right there.
I never thought about that.
I'm just like, throw the phone, just throw the phone. Like, so do you guys think that both Stu and Billy were there, or do you think it was just one of them? Or
In the first scene,
in the first sequence,
I think that was Stu. I
think
never
it was
really.
Stu.
I think too.
I don't really think that they were both there. I think it was a Stu thing. And I think that's, if you listen to it, he sounds a little goofy. He's a little clumsy, but he's also, I mean, Stu was a big, tall dude,
Yeah.
I think it took both of them to execute that. I think it was a lot for one to do it. Personally, I think both were there. Then Billy went off into Sydney's house and did his little thing over there. But it's funny because the part where he's dragging Casey along the lawn and her hands like holding back the phone, and he picks it up and you hear him go like, "Hey, he sounds like Stu."
He does sound
It's
like
the
Stu.
craziest thing.
I
He sounds just like him.
Yeah. So I always thought like back in the day rewatching it, I'm like, I always thought it was Billy because like the grunt that he makes at the, when he goes down for like the first like, slice, not the first one, I guess the second one after she pulls off his mask. I always thought it was Billy because I always thought like, but thinking about it, I think there was both of them because I think to pull Steve in there to do all that thing and then to kind of, I think even with Billy going to see Sydney later, I think Stu could have done the same with Tatum, like to kind of have an alibi.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I guess we'll never know, but like, to me, it's kind of crazy how like, he's kind of like creeping through the house and then all of a sudden he's like right at that window when she like looks up.
Yeah.
I
really do think there's two because of a lot of that.
Yeah.
Backyard, front door, doorbell ringing.
Yeah.
Like
The Steve thing is the only thing that like pulls me to believe that there's two of them. But
yeah.
other than getting Steve handled, I feel like it was a Stu job. Maybe even like a test. I think, Billy was the brains. And it could have even been like a test to see if Stu would actually be able to go through this and everything.
Let's go. Nice. I like that. I think it's definitely Billy on the phone for sure. I think the way he's talking to Drew, I think it's just, I think so.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so it looks like Conrad and May are sipping on some tequila and some Cabernet. I'm not gonna lie, May, I actually had a glass of Cab on Valentine's Day with Dace, and it was awesome. It's crazy how like literally a glass of freaking red wine would just like get you. I don't drink too often, but like I can handle mine. But it's definitely
Mine
good.
is different though.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Like some dry red wine. Like it's not everybody's favorite, but I actually don't mind it. So I appreciate it, May. Thank you very much. I do like the background, like the whole New York, Jason takes Manhattan, but with Ghostface. Yeah, definitely good crossover for sure. Conrad says, I love how they made a character that was basically a horror fan, which was Randy is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally Dace, like right before the stream, just asked, who's your favorite character throughout the first film. So we'll just go to that. Oh man. So then you got the crew. Such a good picture. Honestly, that whole fountain, the whole, fountain like little sequence,
Yeah.
like such a memorable sequence because you know what I mean?
It's got Friends vibes.
Yeah, totally Friends vibes.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I think they kind of have like that the Laurie Strode reference to when she looks outside the window. It's like Sydney's in the classroom and she looks over at her chair and Casey's not there, and stuff like that. To me, that kind of seemed like it was like a little bit of a Halloween reference, but they pull her in and stuff, and then they go out to the fountain, and literally if you listen closely enough, like they give themselves away like right off the bat, you know what I mean? Like Stu and Billy, like they're literally like he makes a reference, only a man can do something like that. Like it's just like he's literally giving himself away pretty much. And then they kind of do the whole hey, you dated Casey, and he was like, yeah, only for like 2 seconds or whatever. But yeah, Randy's just so damn likable in this film. So like it's hard for me to decipher like who I like. Dewey's probably my favorite character throughout the whole franchise. I still think nothing against Gail. I love Courtney Cox. I feel like Dewey shouldn't have died in 5. That's just how I feel. But like literally watching 5, I'm just like, holy shit, they actually really killed him off. Like I thought he was invincible. I was like, no, they're not gonna do that.
That was a bad choice.
Yeah.
I have to say, like franchise wise, throughout the whole franchise, Dewey would be my favorite.
Yeah,
but if we're talking just 96, I think I'd have to go with Stu.
Stu, nice. Yeah.
I mean, if I was picking one to hang out with, I'd rather chill with Randy. Like I could kick it with Randy all day long.
Yeah, no doubt. And it sucks that you like have to end up like like disliking Stu and Billy. I mean, Billy's just kind of he's a little sketchy throughout, but like Stu seems like a chill dude. You know what I mean? Like it's
I still love both of them.
Yeah. And Dace, she says her favorite character is Tatum. Honestly, I think Rose McGowan was like honestly so well casted. She plays the role so well.
So good.
And she's just like that perfect balance of like not really snobby, but just kind of like a little bit of a smart ass, like you know what I mean, but yet still like means well and stuff. Like, yeah, she's
a good friend to Sydney.
Yeah, I agree. And they do a really good job of how like she's describing what happened to Casey and Steve, and then it kind of like stops when she's thinking about her mom, but she doesn't yet bring it up, and then you know what I mean, like it just like the movie does a really good job of like kind of pulling you along into the story like the whole way through, which each movie should obviously do, but like it just does it so well, just so well. And then I did have this picture from earlier. I guess that's when they come back in. I do like this reference though. I did like this like later where it kind of shows shoot, what was Johnny Depp's name in Nightmare on Elm Street? I can't think. Shoot, I can't think.
Oh, hold on. I'll get it.
But yeah, it's crazy how beginning to end, there's so much homage paid to all the other past, man. Like
Amen,
nonstop.
dude.
That's like one
So
of the
many
best
that just
parts
go
of
over
it.
your head too. Like you could still
His name is Glenn.
Glenn. Okay. Yeah.
right. Yeah, even watching it today, there's still little things here and there like that I could pick out that I might not have noticed last time. Like there's so
Mhm.
much in there,
So
so many
many
little Easter
references.
eggs and references.
Yep. All in like, yeah, looking at it right now, I'm having it in the background. The sheriff in this one is actually the deputy sheriff in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mhm.
Yep. Which is really
Like you
cool.
mentioned earlier, how you were like, "Oh, why didn't she throw the phone to get her parents' attention?" But that whole thing where like she tried to yell but couldn't. That's the same as Lori at the hospital when she was on the ground and trying to yell for help and couldn't.
True. Very true.
Just like
Um,
the whole movie, man. They did a really good job.
That's
of
what
that.
blew me away as a kid. All those references to movies I had watched prior to Scream, and then I got the references, and it was great.
yeah,
She's been
because
watching
like
horror movies since she was like 5 years old. So.
No, I was like 2. Thank you.
no, yeah,
My uncle
I mean,
was like 2.
yeah. I mean, I was watching like Chucky and Halloween when I was like literally like 3 or 4,
Mhm.
5 years old, like
My
really
whole
young. But yeah. Do you guys know who this lady is?
Isn't it Linda?
The one and only Linda Blair. That's crazy. And like
Yeah, they
that's what I'm
put her in
saying.
there.
Yeah, like even like stuff like that. Like it's just crazy, man. Like, yeah, really, really, really good references, no doubt.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, I like this. The scene at the Blockbuster place that they were working at, it's so funny because Stu basically gives up. He's Ghostface. Yeah, I mean, it literally
Well, they make you think it's Randy for a minute there.
A little bit. Yeah, they do.
They try.
yeah, I actually love this scene so much. Like it's easily one of the best scenes in the film. Like it gives you the backstory of like, who Randy is, yet like they're all friends, but yet like Randy's like secretly like kind of jealous of Billy, because he's kind of got the hots for Sid, but then you find out even at the end that Stu's even got kind of the hots for Sid and stuff. And then even like Tatum, like when they bust Stu and stuff, and then they're at her house, like, sleeping over, she, they do that in the parody of the Scary Movie where she's like almost like kind of had the hots for Billy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So, but definitely another character we get to meet early is Miss Gail Weathers,
Again.
which was so well casted. Also, I'm just telling you, like, I just feel like every character was so well casted. Like, it's just crazy. Like
Oh, she doesn't look like that anymore.
yeah. I mean, they just hit a home run. I don't mind her look in this one. I actually think her progression through each film, and I don't mind her bangs in the third film. I don't even think they're that bad. Like, I honestly think she's awesome in the
She's
third
great.
one. Yeah. But once we kind of get the backstory, meeting all the characters and all the friends, and everything, then I think this scene is like really awesome. I think this scene, like, shoot, I was like, well, you kind of guessed that there was like no way that Sydney was gonna get, offed, so early in the film, but you kind of almost felt like you didn't know because, literally Drew. I mean, you just walk into the film and you're like, Drew's literally on the poster, like she is the poster, and yet she like dies in like the first 20 minutes, 20 minutes. So you're just not sure. But I just, again, like, I like how it's like so nonchalant when she's on the phone with Ghostface, and then he kind of makes a reference to, do you want to die just like your mother? And it's just like, oh shit. It goes from like 0 to 100, like so many times in this film. They just do a really good job of it. Really, really good job. And I think at that part, when they're at the house, I want to know what her dad does for a job. Because
I was saying that last night. Also, how does he afford that house? We kept rewinding it and being like, that house is so amazing.
Look at the balcony.
The balcony is just effing stupendous. Like, it is literally just crazy. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I wonder if that's actually like Wes's house or something, like in the hills or something. I wonder if it is. Like, I don't know, but
I wonder. The house is beautiful.
Yeah,
such a crazy nice house. Yeah.
So, like, the reason we first started pausing and rewinding is because the way that when Billy climbs in her window, you know, it's second story. But when he climbs out, it's like you see him just land on his feet and walk away.
Yeah,
It's like, wait, that's a second story window. So you're kind of like rewinding to see the layout and what he would be standing on, you know.
true.
And then the
Damn,
more we
that's
watch, we're like, damn, this is a really nice house.
that's deep. I didn't even think about something like that. That's crazy. Yeah,
But he's
I point
walking
out
on
the
the
weirdest
roof.
stuff though.
Yeah, he is walking on the roof. Right underneath the window, there's a little roof that comes down. He's just walking.
makes
on.
sense.
Yeah,
Nice.
it works.
Climbing up a roof a little weird though.
Well, what's crazy about this film is like I've told some people, it's like this film is like usually like the setting is either, you know, the high school or a house that's out in the middle of nowhere, whether it's Stu's house, Sydney's house, Casey's house, you know. And then in the second one you got pretty much the college setting, third one Hollywood. So I really do like this setting. Like in this first film, like it's either, you know, when they go to the high school, I don't know why I just get the faculty references. Like I just feel like I literally almost feel like they're at the, I don't know. It's obviously not the same high school, but another great film though by Kevin, my bad.
Love the faculty.
Yeah, great film. But yeah, the house is so stupendous, but I do think that Stu is well, obviously, I guess maybe they're both there also again. Like maybe this is like a dual thing where it's like, while he's talking to her, you know, in the background, you know, Stu kind of, you know, sneaks in or whatever, you know, it's probably both, to be completely honest, but he's probably just, yeah, because when he walks in, they're probably using that clone phone of like their dad, because they probably already, you know, have him tied up and everything by that time. So yeah, but yeah, so then we had, okay, geez Louise, there's a lot of comments already. Okay, oh, nice. What's up, Chels? Thank you for joining us. Nice.
Hi.
Conrad says Linda Blair worked with Wes on the movie called Summer of Fear. A little fun fact. Man, Conrad, always come up with those facts, man. Like we sit in bullshit movies like all freaking day, man. Like it's crazy. Like, yeah, that's nuts. I don't think I've actually heard of that film though. Summer of Fear. So how do you guys think? So I was looking at lists before the stream, and I was like, to me, I'm just blown away watching Scream. But when I look at like the best slasher films of all time, it honestly didn't even make like the top 10 of some lists. And I'm like, how is that possible? Like this movie has everything you want in a slasher. Like I just, but every freaking list I was on, Nightmare on Elm Street was always ranked higher. So how do you guys think these compare? Which Wes, like which creation? Like I was literally we watched the movie Stream the other day, and I asked him, I know that Mike likes Scream better, and I know Jay likes Nightmare on Elm Street better. So I was like, you know, which one do you think was a more impactful, you know, better film for like Wes? Which one was? And it's almost an impossible question, but like, you know, because I know both films did so much. I just think, you know, head to head, it's just like, it just kind of is, it's pick your poison, whatever you're kind of looking for. I think Freddy at the time, like, obviously, you know, he's really iconic for the 80s and just blew up in the 80s. Like, I get it. And I think, like, when I watch older slashers, you know, from the golden age from 80 to 83 or whatever, you know, even 84, I think it was like a nice, like a different tone, you know what I mean? Like I think all slashers were kind of getting to be the same and stuff, so it was a little something different when Nightmare on Elm Street came out. But Scream, it was like they were just dying out, man. Like it was like, and now if you even think about it, literally after Scream came out, like I know we had like our Urban Legends and I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I love both of those films. We had kind of the remakes in like the 2000s, but really, was there another really big time slasher other than Scream, you know, other than, you know, up until 2018? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, it did so much. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like for our generation, for sure, I think that's like Scream is just, it's on another level, you know?
Yep.
Like there's no denying, you know, the main ones like Halloween and Nightmare and all that. Like they're iconic for sure. One of the things that got me with Scream is the fact that like it made it so real because it mentions all these other horror movies and it pays homage to them. So it's like all those movies are movies, but Scream is this is real life now, and it's just a whole different feeling when it did that.
Scream's just more realistic than the other ones, I feel like, in general.
Right. There's no supernaturalness to it
Yeah.
or anything. It's just literally
Like
it could be
randos,
anybody
anyone
throwing
could
on
do
a
it.
mask, pulling out a
Yeah.
buck knife.
It's true.
Amen. Like seriously, I cannot agree with you guys more. That was the scary thing about Scream when it came out. It was just so effing real. It was so effing real, and it was just like holy shit. Like this had literally happened. Sad to say, I think it probably was happening. I know this was based on the Gainesville Ripper, and stuff like that down in Florida. Not quite the same storyline, but Kevin kind of took inspiration from it, and I know. It sucks that people get inspiration from real life events and stuff, but and then the whole thing that happened, with the Colorado thing, after and stuff. A lot of people kind of even maybe blame Scream for that, which I don't think that's the case. But you know what I mean? Like it's just
They call those kids Scream killers and all that shit, but it's like
I think
people blame real life killers on horror movies, and then they say horror movies come from real life killers, but like. I mean, you're always going to be able to piece them together somehow. But
Yeah.
Yep.
you can't blame a movie for someone being sadistic, like.
It's going to happen regardless. Like it's been happening since day one that man has been, on Earth or whatever, Yo, what's up, Kyle? What's going on, dude? Nice.
Kyle.
Yeah, say I'm a little jealous. Kyle got that plushie.
Oh, we didn't get the plushie.
We went to the theater. They didn't have the plushie. We got the popcorn tin and we got the little cups, but they didn't have the plushies.
See, like I don't think we have a Cinemark or it's Cinemark, right?
No.
Or yeah.
Tell you what,
Like,
if
I don't
you
think-
don't have one, I got you. I picked up an extra popcorn tin in case somebody that we knew couldn't get one.
Dope. I mean, they might have them at the theater that we're going to, but I don't know theaters well enough to be like we have Marcus theaters around here. Does that sound familiar or not? No. See, we just usually have like Marcus theaters, which are really nice, but it seems like that's like the big company around here, like AMC theaters. I don't even know if we have any of those around here or anything.
We have one somewhere.
Yeah, so we got.
What's going on, Sarah? Appreciate you joining us. Dope.
It's just really good detail.
That's cool. Nice. That's cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm so fucking stoked for this new film. Like I'm so glad it's like literally under a month away. I literally should have said beforehand, I trust everybody in the comments. I was telling Dace like I'm almost kind of glad we don't have like 50 people in the chat, just I know nobody's gonna post any spoilers or anything. It just kind of is sad because I did see some people in the community kind of already get spoilers kind of thrown their way, and they kind of saw some like that. It just sucks, man. Like it almost kind of made me scared like doing these streams because I was just like, man, I just don't want something weird happening where that I don't know. Yeah, really does suck.
I appreciate everybody like in our immediate community, the people we interact with the most. Everybody's always looking out for each other and really trying to make sure that no one's spoiling things. If someone gets a spoiler, they don't run their mouth and tell it.
Yep.
For the most part, our community is really good about that. So that's really nice.
Well, Larry and I had to go seek out the spoilers simply because we needed to know, because we moderate so much.
Yeah.
What to kick out.
Yeah. So we moderate for a lot of people. So we discussed and we said, you know what, like we want to be able, if someone starts to talk about the actual spoiler, we wanted to know so we can shut them and kick them out of the stream right away before they spoil it for any of you guys.
Wait a second. So you guys already know what they are? Holy shnikes. That is crazy.
A lot of content creators were getting DMs with the spoilers in them and getting like their days ruined.
Yeah. In the streams, people are just like, people are jumping in people's streams and just talking about random stuff. And then bam, they just post the spoiler. Yeah. And so you're just reading comments like normal. Next thing you know the spoilers.
Sons of bitches, man.
It's a spoiler, they're going to leave it in there. So that's why we took it upon ourselves just to look it up so we can make sure everyone because
we moderate for everybody. And there's one thing we
that
want to make
is
sure
insane.
nobody burn it in a chat for somebody else,
Yeah.
So
That
we,
is insane.
with all the moderating we do and how into the community we are, like
It's
there's,
inevitable.
there's
we're gonna
no
see
avoiding it for us because
Yeah.
we're behind the scenes with everybody all the time, and like we can't. If the spoilers out there, somehow we're gonna see it whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we figured it'd be better for us to just see it earlier so we can stop other people
We
that
don't
don't want
want
to see it.
other
from seeing
people
it.
getting hurt over it. So
I applaud you guys. That's effing crazy. And like just like you said, like they come into the chat, play it all safe and shit, and then they post it, and then just that's so effed
they're
up,
ruining
man.
a lot of days. It's under like comments, like I guess even on Instagram, like in comment sections under pictures and stuff, people are putting stuff. So you gotta be real careful.
Yeah, if you're on Instagram and you see a post about Scream,
just don't
don't
click the
even read through the
comments.
comments because people are just putting it in the comments. So if you're sitting there just reading through comments, you're gonna see it.
Twitter.
Why is it that I feel like most like shit that I see on Instagram, like when they're posting stuff, I just feel like it's bots. Like I feel like they're not even real people. Like I swear, like when
Instagram is really bad for that. With the comments, you mean?
yeah, like when I look at comments that are just seem controversial, and I'm like, why would somebody say that? And then you go like you look at like the account, and there's just like no posts, no fault. Like you're just like, oh, it's just fucking bots everywhere. It's like, what is going on?
And it's like copy and paste comments because you'll see the
Yeah.
exact same comment on a bunch of different posts.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree, May. Scream is different. It's fresh take on the slasher film. It's more realistic. Yeah. I think that's what's man, I love all types of slashers, but I think that's just what makes Scream stand out among all of them is just I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Freddy Krueger, man. I like Nightmare on Elm Street. Sometimes I feel like I forget how great that actual franchise is. I actually think it's highly consistent, even compared to like Scream. But I think Ghostface is just as iconic as Freddy, to be honest. Like, I know Freddy was like eating up the 80s, and same with Jason, but like, there was nobody even competing with Ghostface. Like, you know what I mean? Like, during our time, like, there was nobody else. I mean, up until like, you know, the Saws came out and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I guess in the early 90s, I did watch like a lot of Child's Play. I mean, Chucky was big, you know, in like the 90s and stuff, but I mean, you know, I guess he's always been really big since, you know, in the late 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
So are you guys big Child's Play fans or not really?
Oh,
I like it,
love
yeah.
Chuck.
Nice.
I got he's wearing a
Ghostface.
he's wearing a Ghostface, man.
Dope. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and the series too has been really good.
Yeah, I don't we started watching the series. I think I got to like the 4th or 5th, and then I kind of just forgot to kind of watch the rest because it's on. I just don't watch a lot of regular cable, and it's on USA, so I don't get on my Fubo that much.
It's on Peacock too. I don't know if you have Peacock.
Yeah, we watch.
I do actually. Yeah, nice. Sarah, I keep forgetting that that you live in Canada. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. Nice. Eric is sending me a cup. Nice, love it.
It's so nice of him.
Kyle says some people in my community have been spoiled and the other half have not. I'm lucky I haven't been. I do my part to make sure the next person doesn't get spoiled. Yeah, you know, I saw like Brett James Bishop. I saw his post on Facebook that he had got, you know, he saw like the spoiler. I just felt bad for him, man, because he, you know, that's the biggest aspect about this franchise is the whodunit aspect. Like that's why I love it. It's like that's why I'm actually getting into like the giallo films because it's just murder mysteries. It's like the whodunit murder mysteries. Like it's awesome. Looking at the history behind those two, Argento and shit, like it is so cool. Like usually I wasn't into that artsy fartsy kind of stuff, but I can see why, like kind of like the framework that it laid out for like the rest of these films and stuff. So are you guys fans or not really?
Yeah. I mean, I like just about every type of movie. It's nice. If it's a good movie, I enjoy it. There's not like a certain genre where I'm like, oh, I don't watch those. You know, I can, as long as it's a well-made movie, as you know, a good storyline. I mean, I even watch movies that have crappy acting as long as I see what the intent was, man. Like,
yeah, no doubt. They were talking about. I was on Maverick. They were doing the Scream 2 watch party last night, and they had brought up Jeepers Creepers Reborn, and they were like, "Oh, they were like, it's on Hulu," and I'm like, "Yes, I can finally watch it," because I didn't really want to spend any money. And my brother's Hulu wasn't signed in, and I couldn't remember his shit, and I'm like, "Damn it!" I was like, "I don't want to buy this," but I get interested and intrigued to like see, you know, whatever
That one hurts, man, because
that one hurts.
Jeepers
Damn.
Jeepers Creepers might be my top franchise. I loved number 1 so much. Number 2 was like almost just as good. Like I loved those first 2 movies so much. And when the third one came out, I was really disappointed. I'm like, damn, man, I thought this was gonna be my franchise. And so when I heard that Reborn was coming out, I was thinking, oh hell yeah, dude, it's time for the redemption. You know, we're gonna get back on track.
Yep.
And that movie, I have nothing good to say about that movie, dude.
Damn it.
So I watched it. Actually, me and Helvington watched it. We were doing a watch party, just the two of us watching it together because he's a huge Jeepers Creepers fan too.
Yep.
I mean, we literally sat there and talked about how bad it was and basically made fun of the movie. And that's the only reason we made it through the movie is because we were having fun clowning on the movie. Like it was bad, dude.
That's crazy. I love the first 2 movies, honestly. Unpopular opinion, I don't mind the third actually. I know it's not the best, but like I can still watch it. Like it's not terrible.
I agree. It's watchable.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
not on par with the first and second one.
Yeah.
But it's a decent movie. But yeah, Reborn is just it's horrible. Like it was so cheap. I mean, a few people from the community can probably get together with their phones and make a better movie.
Crazy. That's crazy. I actually just started following Justin Long today. So yeah, he's such a beast in the community. Like that first film, such a like him in that. I'm not for sure who the actress is, but they just smashed both of those roles in that first film.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I totally agree, Sarah. I'm gonna see if I don't know if we have a 3D theater around here. I know we do, like in our capital city, but yeah, I definitely want to be able to see both. Are you guys gonna go see both? Probably 2D and 3D.
Tickets to the regular non-3D because for some reason the opening the Thursday night there's no 3D showing, so we're just going regular. I don't know if we'll go back.
Yeah, because we're gonna see it on the 9th.
Yeah, we're seeing it early.
Nice.
And then as soon as it comes out streaming, we'll watch it like 40 more times.
No doubt.
It's good.
No doubt.
But I mean, I don't know if we're gonna watch the 3D.
Nice. Yo, what's up, Michael Joe? What's going on, man? It was on Mavericks stream last night. Let's see. Okay, let's get back to some of these picks. Okay, so we kind of get done with the rental, the Blockbuster place. Have you guys seen like how I've seen Day sent me this video where it was like 50 things or something that you might have missed in Scream or whatever, where they talked about the scene where Sid's in a room, like right at the beginning, right before Billy comes through the window, and there's a poster with the Indigo Girls. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had that hit about
Power of Two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Yep.
And really, I don't know if Kevin actually like came up with the inspiration to like, oh man, I'm watching the video rental scene like right now. I don't know if he came up with the inspiration to actually have 2 killers because we'll get to it, but like I think in the actual Gainesville Ripper situation, the guy that was actually committing the murders and stuff like that, he was out there, but they thought it was some other kid within the community that they were actually blaming it on at first. And so that's where they almost came up with the aspect of like the 2 killers. I don't know if he took inspiration from that, but like, yeah. So they had mistakenly like pretty much kind of found this outcast within the community that they pretty much were trying to blame for the whole thing or something. But then obviously it wasn't the right guy. But so then we get to the third act, Stu's house. I mean, this third act is just the icing on the cake of this whole film. Like and I love how they love Jamie Lee Curtis, or at least Randy does. She's the original Scream Queen, which, she was just killing it with, The Fog, Halloween, Terror Train. Like, you know what I mean? Like she was just honestly just killing it. So how awesome is like when Dewey goes into the house, you know, with his gun drawn and everything, and they have the Halloween music playing in the background. It's just so
good.
awesome. So
It's nice that that's kind of the score for like the end of this movie.
yep.
That Halloween score.
Yeah.
Honestly, aside from like all the like the referential like you know sounds and stuff that they have in the score, this Marco Beltrami dude, he actually kills it. Like I feel like it was very new age, like and just so fresh, like the score that they chose for the film. And even just listening to it now, it's just like God, it just seems like it was like made yesterday. It's so crazy. I don't know. Really, really chose it well. You know, and then you get to the iconic part where they're talking about the rules.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever notice how like this one little part though right there where Michael's got the knife drawn back, he already had it stabbed Bob anyways, and then when he goes to pause it, like he has the knife drawn back. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's a good
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
There's a few parts in that movie that we noticed when we watched it last where things kind of happened, and then when it goes to the next scene, it re-happens again.
The edit,
There's a spot where Ghostface he stabs and he wipes his knife clean, but there's no blood on it while he's wiping it, and then it goes to the next scene, there's blood on it again, and then he wipes it off again.
Yep.
That was after he stabs Billy.
Yeah.
And I mean I think the best thing about this film is they literally sit there and they're like the killer's Billy. The killer is Billy. He's so sketchy throughout the whole film. It's him. It's fucking him.
And then he gets stabbed. You're like, oh shit.
Exactly. He gets stabbed and you're like, oh shit, it's honestly not him. Like, holy shit, it's somebody else. I mean, automatically you got to know it's Stu because like he's been gone for a while, you know. Dewey obviously can't be the killer. He's out there with Gale and stuff, you know, or I guess you could think it would be the dad, maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe it was the dad. Maybe he is like, you know, trying to get revenge for. It's so crazy how this whole franchise is based on Maureen. You know what I mean? It's like in her actions, like it's kind of crazy.
I want a flashback of like her death, you know, killing her and all that.
Yeah, like
I want to
like
see
a
that
prequel.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Honestly, Destination Station, he brought up in a stream, somebody had asked him, like, what kind of flashback do you want to see? I don't know if it was on Craven's stream or something, but he came up with the idea where he was like, I want to see a flashback of Billy showing up to the Stu Macher house and then he's like, I want to see Sam's mom, you know, kind of sitting there like watching, you know, Billy go up the stairs. Yeah, and I was like, dude, that is such a clever idea. Like that'd be a good like really good idea.
They need to do something like that.
Definitely.
I don't know what they're gonna do for this next film, like if they're gonna do that or if they're not gonna do that, or if they're like I don't know how many flashbacks there probably are, but yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess.
Hopefully some.
Yeah, I'm guessing that there probably will be. Kyle, I broke my own promise and gone ahead and watched Reborn. Just how it was. It was horrible. Yeah. Honestly, I tell Conrad, it's like it's crazy how you watch Tubi and you'll watch some awesome like kind of low budget films, and then you'll just watch some that are just like you and I could make a film just as good as it, like, you know what I mean?
See, I can enjoy like a cheap low budget film. I enjoy a lot of fan films. Like it doesn't have to be a high dollar, you know, film for me to enjoy it. But Reborn was just, it was executed so poorly, man. And
damn,
knowing like the budget they had and everything, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, speaking of the part where like Billy gets stabbed, have you guys seen this film called Lake Alice?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Lake Alice. It's on Tubi. It's actually pretty good. Same kind of premise that Scream kind of goes with. It's actually cool. The killer, it's like, I just love like slashers that take place in like cold, snowy like settings and shit. Really cool. It's like this cabin setting and stuff like that, kind of like this snowy, like just set. It's really cool. You guys should watch it. But it's not like a high budget. It's kind of more of a low budget, but well executed. Definitely.
We'll get to that one.
Nice. Shoot, my bad. What's going on, Extron? Thanks for joining us, man. I don't know if I missed you earlier. My bad.
Yeah, what's up, Extra? What's up, Maverick?
Yeah, what's up, Mav? Dude, enjoyed that watch party last night, man. Good stuff, dude. Scream 2, man. I can't wait to do the next one. It's crazy because bringing that up, honestly, I probably watched Scream 2 more than I watched the original growing up. I did that with a lot of the sequels. I ended up watching a lot of the sequels more so than the originals, but I love Scream 2. Don't get me wrong. It actually is rated 2% higher on Rotten Tomatoes than the original, but
Yeah.
the first one's just too iconic. It's just too good.
I don't understand why, but
yeah, it's just too. I honestly can't believe it's only rated 80%. Like that's just crazy to me. Like
I just said that last time.
Yeah.
yeah, like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street are like 95, 96. I'm like, dude, how is Scream only 80%? Like that isn't.
No sense.
Yeah,
Very unfortunate.
no doubt. Okay, so. Yeah, then you get to the part where, like Sydney's kind of getting chased around, around, I guess you would say like the farmhouse. I'm actually watching the one kill. I guess I wish I probably would have got some pictures of, the Tatum kill. I actually really like the Tatum kill because it's just like, to me, it's a throwback to kind of the 80s slashers that had like those like creative kills, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's not saying that the other kills were like generic, because they're definitely not, but they definitely threw this one in there to kind of have like that creative kind of like throwback kind of kill. Which
we were just talking about it last night, and I was saying that like it's funny how, in the real world, like thinking about it, like that kill couldn't happen. Like those garage doors can't lift someone up that high.
Amen.
That much pressure. So like if you really sit there and think about it, like, yeah, it's impossible, but yet it's like one of the best kills of the whole movie, the most memorable kill of the whole movie. Like you
of
love
the whole
it.
franchise almost. Like,
and that whole scene where like
I'd say,
she opens the door, you think the killer's there, they're not. The door closes, you think the killer's there, but it's the cat. And then when the ghost face finally pops up, it's like you're finally not expecting it anymore.
Yep.
And then bam, he's there.
I totally agree. You guys think that's Stu or Billy?
Oh man.
I think it's Billy, because then when Billy shows up right afterward, he gives Stu a look, kind of like little eyebrow, like I took care of it. Yeah.
Yep, no doubt.
Yep.
So I think that was Billy, because Stu was inside watching the movies with everybody else.
I would totally agree, because Stu is also kind of gives her the, hey, will you get a beer or whatever out in the garage, or we go get some more beers. Yeah, definitely kind of sets her up. So that almost kind of gives me like the, hey, you kill Tatum, I'll go after Sid. Like that's why I think kind of Stu was going after Sid in like that second act or whatever part where they're at her house. But I totally agree, Larry. Like, there's no way that garage door is lifting her up. Like, I remember they showed like in the behind the scenes, they were like, we almost couldn't like keep her in there or something like that, where like she was falling out. Yeah. And I think, but it's just great practical effects. Like when Sydney falls out the window and sees her, it just looks so freaking good. Like it's just, it's an awesome kill, definitely. I do remember I did a stream with Killjoy Jake, and I think his buddy's name was Brian. Yeah, and we were doing like a tier list of not a tier list, but a bracket of like best kills in Scream, and that literally was the second best. Like they literally ranked it as the second, and
it's like the most memorable kill in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he just nonchalantly goes inside. Yeah. Such a good kill. Stu's robe. That's such a cool ass robe.
I love when Destin wears that on his streams. It kills me.
Oh man, I want to get into the Scream 6 talk so bad. What? Okay, I'll just ask really quick. In reference to the robe and stuff with that whole shrine. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that shrine for 6?
I got
Man,
thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts, man, and different theories. There's so much. Like I've been talking with so many different people that have other different theories. So I don't really have a specific thing that I think it is. But one thing that I do believe is I don't think one person was able to put that whole shrine together. Like,
Gotcha.
I think that whole collection is a group effort in some way.
But is the stuff all evidence, or is it
Or is-
like
or is it-
memorabilia from like
Yeah.
Stab? That's a question. Is it a museum almost? Maybe like that's like 'cause Gail had a key to that. She took them there. If you see in the trailer,
Yep.
she turns the lights on and everything. So I kind of feel like almost like, what if it's like a known, like a museum display type of thing? I don't know, or I don't even know if it's as much of a shrine as we all think it is.
Yeah, I honestly totally agree. This is what I'm saying. Like at first glance, I was like, "Oh, okay, so Kirby is a detective with Maroney, yeah." I'm thinking like, did they bust this or did they happen to come upon this shrine or something like when they were maybe doing some detective stuff? Like, is that how they came across it? And then boom, all of a sudden now you have like, Gail and Kirby like taking the key down to the place. Like, did they throw this together themselves? What's the storyline behind that? Like, why would they do that? You know what I mean? Like, it is kind of it's a mind bender. Like I really don't honestly know. Like kind of it'll be interesting to see how it plays out
I
because
really want to know
Yeah.
the truth.
And like what May just said is another thing I heard about.
That's really good.
They have a musical in New York, and so those are actually more like
Could
almost
be
like props for the
Yeah.
musical, and the musical
Yep.
goes through the different screen
That's
kills.
a really good one.
Yeah, musical, wrongly accused musical. So I wonder if that's like based upon Cotton, like and it's just like a musical, right, or something, or like I don't know.
And the first name that comes to mind when you say wrongly accused is Cotton, but
Yeah,
with how much stuff they have down there, it's almost like it would have to play out through all the Woodsboro murders.
true.
Almost like a musical that goes through every murder.
Yeah, I
that's
mean, there was
happened.
stuff from like all of them, pretty
Yeah.
much, I think, and then all the Ghostface like outfits. There was enough for every single one. That's been a killer so far.
Yep. Yeah.
But then you've got the one in the glass case. God, Billy's. Why is that one in a glass case?
Yeah, and then man, I want to like I don't know, honestly, Conrad and I actually have a stream tomorrow night that we're gonna dive into it like a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of like I just don't know. I really don't know. I feel like
law enforcement, that's actually like really set on these murders and figuring out because Ghostface is still popping up. They catch Ghostface, there's another Ghostface. They catch Ghostface, there's another Ghostface.
People have those billboards where they have like newspaper cutouts. That's like their version of newspaper cutouts.
It
and the
could
lines
literally
drawn.
just be evidence from some obsessed, people
Yeah.
involved in law enforcement trying to figure out, where the inspiration is really coming from and how to stop the next Ghostface.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like Extron literally says that too. Like it's evidence for the police, maybe. Yeah. Kyle says maybe the shrine is like our horror rooms. But yeah, I totally agree. I think that they maybe came upon it and they're just like, but then they, isn't it like one of the costumes is like stolen then, right? Or isn't there? So they're like thinking, oh, maybe it was part of the musical and then this Ghostface ended up taking the original costume or something like that. Now he's out. Like, I really don't know. I really don't even know what to think about the, like this new, like cracked and like faded mask and all that kind of stuff. Like I
dig the look of it. Not gonna lie. Like,
yeah,
I dig the look of it. I think someone is using an OG mask. At least that's what we're supposed to think.
May says, Anthony, there's a poster that shows Ghostface in Times Square that says that somewhere. Okay.
Oh, wrongly accused the musical.
Yeah. I think Craven was talking about the musical.
Yeah, like even that new one, it was talking about the McKinseys and stuff like that. And like
Mm.
other than that, I really haven't heard anything like other than that, like kind of new news or whatever. But I guess, yeah. Which the McKinseys are referenced in the first film, which are
Yeah.
referenced in Halloween, another good reference or whatever. Um, but okay, so let's get back to the third act. So obviously we see, Billy gets stabbed the whole 9 yards, and then, he gets chased around. Our Sid does get chased around a little bit, falls down to the boat, finds, Tatum, obviously in the garage door. And then you have the scene where Billy falls down the stairs, he says, "Hey,
That
give me the
iconic-
gun." And then you find out it was all a fucking, it was all fake.
Yeah.
And then he references, Norman Bates, he talks about, corn syrup, from Carrie, like just great stuff. Like,
Amazing.
yeah.
Funny story about Carrie when she gets covered in that pig's blood. You know that she actually left that on for like 2 or 3 days straight because she wanted like the pattern of the blood to match in all the scenes they were filming over those days. So after they poured that shit on her, she left it on her without washing it off for multiple days until they were done filming.
That's dedication.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Commitment.
Yeah.
for sure, dude.
I'd want that off me so
Just
fast.
for continuity to make sure that it looked the same in all the other scenes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That movie's a good movie too.
yeah, for sure.
Carrie's amazing.
Yeah, the original. I don't think I've seen the remake with the girl from Kick-Ass.
It's okay.
It's okay.
The OG is the best.
Gotcha. And I mean, then it's like literally seconds later, and you're finding out, oh, well, he's got an accomplice. Like, and I think the first thing is like like, I don't think, like, even as like a youngster, I had just never seen a film where, there's two killers. Like, I don't think I ever had seen a film like that at the time. I thought it was just beyond creative. I was kind of blown away by it. I was just like, oh man, like it actually made total sense. And then when they pull out, the voice changer and everything so ahead of its time, like it's just that third act is so freaking crazy good. Just so well done. And then, this kitchen scene is just crazy. This kitchen scene is like way crazy. They're talking about like, obviously their fandom and like horror films. We watched films, took some notes, all that stuff. Kind of, they give out pretty much their game plan of like what their story's gonna be, framing her dad. And he kind of gives like, Randy says, well, what's your motive? He's like, motives are, what does he say? It's the millennium, motives are
Incidental.
Yeah. And so like when Billy kind of plays it out where it's like, oh, well, your mom slept with my dad and my mom took off, and it's like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? It just
looked surprised to hear that. I don't know if you guys caught his face, but he looks surprised there.
Like Stu didn't know.
Like almost Billy didn't tell him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Now thinking about that, like Stu's just like, we're just gonna kill Maureen just because.
He was just along for the ride.
Well, now thinking about that, I'm thinking like, so this is what I'm saying. So, well, how would Roman approach these guys and be like, obviously Billy knows. So maybe they just kind of brought Stu in and we're just like, yo, we're going to do this. Are you in or not? Like, we're not going to tell you the whole story. Like are you just in or are you not? And so he probably was just like, yeah, sure. Whatever. Easily manipulated. He's like peer pressure. Oh man, Stu in the kitchen, dude, it is just hilarious, man. Like
he was good and he was funny the whole movie, but that
favorite lines.
Those are so good.
Oh man,
woozy here.
And then, they stab each other, but then like Billy goes ham and just starts like just cutting him up and shit, and it's like, man, such a good scene. Really, but I really love how like, Gail comes in there, yeah, she doesn't realize the safety's on the gun, and all that stuff. But you're thinking at the time, you're like, oh shit, well, she had her opportunity, she messed up, now they're, you know, shit out of luck pretty much. And then Sid's gone with her dad, you know what I mean? And I love how they, have her then playing the game with them,
Yeah.
calling them and saying, what's your favorite scary movie? I called the cops, you mama's boy, you know what I mean? Like just
Mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
yeah, like so good. And that's why I'm like, I definitely feel like he was peer pressured into it more so than like, and maybe it was like, hey, you know what? Billy's like, for our first kill, other than Maureen, I guess you would say, we'll go out and kill Casey. She did you dirty or whatever, and like we'll have her be, you know what I mean? Like I don't really know how it probably got played out, but yeah, such a great like third act. That kitchen scene is so crazy.
Yeah.
They always try to recreate that in all the, sequels do have like kind of the similar outcome in the end, but no one does it as good as the original.
I don't mind the third act in the second film. I actually think it's pretty good.
Mhm.
With the mom and Mickey's pretty much like Stu on steroids, like you know what I mean? Like he's a really good ghost face. I actually really dig the third act in the third one too. Like I think the Roman reveal is actually pretty creative. I think it's pretty dope.
We didn't see that coming.
Yeah, definitely not.
We didn't see
Well,
that coming.
it's so awesome because what do they throw you with that with the same thing kind of from the first one where they open up that coffin or whatever down in the basement and he's got a knife through his chest, you know what I mean? But it's like good makeup and practical effects. You're like, oh well, it can't be him. He's dead now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Another reason why Scream is so fucking great because they do the whole oh no, the fake oh this guy's dead. He just got stabbed. Like, yeah. And then it kind of plays into where, I love the part where, Randy, right here, he kind of references like the killer always comes back. I'm really glad that these were the three survivors. Well, then including Dewey also, but like glad Randy survived. He took his bumps and bruises, ended up getting shot in the freaking shoulder and shit. Sid looks awesome here. Like, just same with Gail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just honestly all-star lineup then for the second one. Like, I thought it was just again so well executed.
Mm-hmm.
So well executed. Let's see what we got. Michael Joe says Kevin Williamson and Fate decided can do a live stream and talk why Stu is never going to return and he's dead. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think it could be a pretty cool like storyline for the seventh film. I don't know why I was thinking that that the special cameo was going to be Demi Lovato. Then when Dace is like, no, you didn't look at it all the way. Like she's the one that's got the song, and I was like, oh, okay, nice. So I'm still kind of interested to see who this special cameo will kind of be. Do you guys have any ideas or?
Could it be Nev Campbell just making?
Let's fucking
I mean,
go.
I mean, she's got to come back.
I hope that'd be great, but I just because the way that all went down, I don't think it would be. I think it would be a bad move for them, like to use that as a surprise because there's a lot of people that are upset about her not being in there, so it hurts them on a marketing standpoint for people to think that Nev's not in the movie.
At least just have her get a call at the end or something.
That's what we've been
Set up
hoping
the
is
next
that
movie.
it'll end with Nev getting a call.
Mhm.
With a little cliffhanger. Yeah, no doubt.
That'd be
I
great.
was thinking it would be pretty cool if she was a special cameo. They kind of threw us under the bus. I just I feel like I don't think Ends gave up too much. Like I feel like literally a night or two before before like the movie came out, I think I was on Brandon's stream and I think somebody posted a spoiler in there. Somebody took it off like really quick, but I ended up seeing it. And really, I think I had already known through like I think Cody Leach, like he read a synopsis different from the other one that I think I had heard before. So
Yeah.
I knew Michael or Lori was going to die. I think the guy said like Michael's going to die or whatever, but I didn't even really care. But I think it would be kind of cool if they kind of like, I don't know, like took, examples from that film and were like, yo, we're gonna throw them in way different directions. But it would be crazy if Sid was in like the special cameo, but I guess we'll see. I'm not for sure.
Just like her voice, if they could use that or something, answering the phone or something.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree here, Mav. There's so much going on in the third act, but it's paced to perfection and the payoff to the second second to none. For me, at least, I totally agree. I think the third act is actually just as good as the first act. Like, I think it's something that you never really saw, I guess, at the time, that I had never seen in a slasher film. So I thought it was so well done, really well executed by Kevin and Wes. God, I just have so much appreciation for Kevin Williamson. Like, literally, I think probably just as much for him that I do than, for Wes. Obviously, and I'm glad that he decided that he's like, no, I want Wes to take my film. Like, you know what I mean? And it just shows that like Kevin was such like a horror fan because, he just, like I said, he's got examples of references from all these other films and shit. So it's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially most of the references are John Carpenter because Carpenter's, a beast too. So So Michael just says Mickey and Billy are my favorite Ghostface. Yeah, Mickey is a good Ghostface. I'm not gonna lie. He definitely was like, yeah, Mav even did the whole thing last night when they were doing the watch party. Billy's mother. Like, it's just hilarious. Oh man, it's so fucking funny. Oh my gosh, Mav's like Michael Strahan as Gail's co-host as the cameo. Honestly, it probably could be something like that. Like, it honestly could be. So yeah. I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Could be anything.
Yeah, and I definitely Extron, I did hear this. I'm not for sure. I'm not familiar with who Viewer Anon is. But yeah, he did say that Neb wasn't in 6. I think the secret cameo was Heather Langenkamp. Oh, okay. That'd be dope. That would actually be pretty sick. What is your guys' thoughts on like what character are you like most excited to see in this new film, I guess?
New character or older?
Just, I guess, returning, or just which character like are you excited to see what their portrayal will be in this new film?
I think Tara.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with her last time.
Ortega fans. Before Wednesday and stuff, before Scream 5, we liked her in that show You. She was really good in that show.
Not familiar.
When we saw her in Scream 5, like that opening act that she did in Scream 5 was so good.
Stole the movie.
I know I hear a lot of people speculating that they think that she's gonna get killed off because she wasn't supposed to be the final girl. Sam was supposed to be the final girl. And then a lot of people are saying, oh, well, no, she blew up with that show Wednesday, but it's like they already finished filming Scream by the time Wednesday came out.
Yep, yeah. Exactly. Yep.
I hope they didn't do that.
So I am interested to see that. I like her better as a final girl than Sam.
Me too.
I
want to see Sam go dark side.
Yeah.
And then Tara be the final girl.
Yeah, after the way she killed Richie in Scream 5, like you could see that Billy inside her,
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. I would so I actually just watched the Babysitter Killer Queen, the second one, and Jenna Ortega is awesome in that film too. Like, she's like, man, I don't know why it took me so long to watch that film again. It is fucking hilarious. Like, man, it's a good one. I think for me, I was hoping Samara Weaving was going to play a big role. I wanted her to be Ghostface so bad, or just like be into cahoots like with Ghostface, or like, I think it's going to be like a cult, or just like, I think there's going to be multiple. I think there's going to be more than 2. I think it's going to be something of that sort.
The cult idea is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I didn't watch The Following, which I guess Kevin did. Is it a TV show? I guess that was based. Mav and those guys were talking about last night. I guess it was like I guess it's like the idea Kevin wanted to take for Scream 3, but kind of didn't or whatever. But I think the cult aspect is awesome. I think it'll be cool. I hate to say it, but like looking at some of those pictures in the in the TV spots. So you guys are thinking Tara's going to survive?
I would prefer her to
We
survive.
want her to.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that I actually think. I think there's just as good a chance she does or doesn't.
Okay, I will say this, like, really, I mean, I'll probably bring it up again tomorrow night on our stream, because we're gonna talk about Scream 6. But we had just watched on Valentine's Day My Bloody Valentine 3D, the remake. And Dace had come up with the idea that she thinks that Sam could be Ghostface without even kind of knowing she's like Ghostface. Like, you know what I mean? Like off of her meds, kind of like the killer was in My Bloody Valentine. He was like in his head, he was thinking, you know, he didn't really know that he was the killer, but he was, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. Maybe they could play into that or not. I don't really know. So
That'd be interesting.
That'd be
it
really
would be. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all kind of plays out, but super excited for it. Michael just says, Jonathan Corn would like to see Gail Weathers have a similar death like Olivia from Scream 4. Needs to be in 6.
wow.
Well, honestly, I mean, they did Dewey pretty intense with 5,
Yeah,
man. Like it was pretty
sucked.
insane kind of death. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, 4 does have pretty hardcore elements in it. Like that Olivia death was pretty intense. Like, yeah.
Brutal.
It definitely has its elements of pretty dark stuff in that 4th film. I'm not the biggest fan of the 4th film, but it's growing on me, definitely, for sure.
I hate it.
It's like it is.
Favorite. Don't
It's
hate.
different from the rest, from the first 3. It definitely is, but I
Our rating
appreciate.
is about the same, except 4 is her least favorite. 3 is my least favorite.
I feel like, well, for me, I dig 3, but like 4 is almost becoming almost as good as 5 to me. I don't know. It's just it seems like really rewatchable for me. I feel like it's growing, but then there's just like some spots in there where I'm just like, Jill and Charlie are the killers. Like, this isn't that believable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, like,
See,
Everyone loves Jill. I just can't stand her.
I'm not a huge fan of Jill, but my main thing with Scream, like we talked about earlier, is how realistic it is. That's what makes Scream scream. And I know it's like a little detail, but I can't stand that voice changer in Scream 3. Like, it's an impossible thing. We don't have that technology. You can't pick up a box
I'll never get
and
over
then
that.
sound like a different person. Like, you can use the voice changer to distort your voice like Ghostface, but I can't pick up a box and then sound like Kirsten. You know, I can't pick up a box and sound like an individual.
You don't know they don't have that
No,
technology.
I do.
well, I mean, okay, well, I've heard. I mean, yeah, I totally. To me, I totally agree. I think the first time watching Scream Theory, I was like, oh, well, that's not crazy believable, but I dig it. Like, you know, to me, it's kind of cool, but because then
The
it just
concept's cool, but it just, to me, it doesn't belong in Scream, because Scream's
Yeah.
about being 100% realistic, could happen today.
Yep.
You know, that's what makes it. That's the creepy part about it, is it, like, everything that happened in Scream 96, everything that happened in Scream 2, like, that could legitimately happen. There's no boogeyman that's unkillable. There's nobody haunting you in your dreams. No dolls coming to life. Like, it's realistic stuff, dude.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But it's Hollywood, dude. Roman, man, he got the hookup, dude. You know.
It's true.
Dude, if our government had that shit, you know how dangerous that would be.
That's true.
Kyle
Very
says, if
incriminating.
one had to die, I'd rather Tara. It'd be more believable if Tara died for Sam to be pushed for her final girl role. Yeah. To me, I thought Jenna Ortega was by far way better in the 5th film than Sam. I shouldn't rag on Sam. She wasn't. It wasn't her portrayal wasn't terrible. It was just like, man, Jenna just like stole the show though. Like all her like scenes and shit, it was just like, damn, man, like she was good in all of her scenes, definitely. But I think she's gonna bring more character development in this next film. I think honestly, I think she's gonna be the center of the film if I had to guess, like, honestly. But
I hope so. I hope that there's more. I feel like she was directed kind of poorly in the last one. A little bit to be the way she was.
Yeah, I totally agree. May says 3 is my least favorite, but I do like the Roman story. Yeah, I think that storyline's pretty interesting and kind of cool. Um, I didn't like 3 again. A lot of these films like grew on me because I felt like I was sitting there always saying like, oh man, none of these even compare to the first 2. They're kind of just like there, and then I'm like, actually, no, I appreciate the hell out of these like other films, like I really do. Michael Joe says, I love Jill Roberts. Honestly, that third act where she's, beating the hell out of herself,
That was
pretty
wild.
awesome. But other than that, it's just like, man.
Okay,
Okay.
you know what? You could say that. I can have an argument for every Scream movie except the original as far as the killers go.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Miss Loomis is cool," but it's like you left your kid. How much do you really love him? Like
Yeah.
you abandoned him, and all of a sudden you act like he was your baby boy. You know?
Yeah.
Like
I never understood that.
Scream 4, like Jill wasn't great. That was unbelievable. Like believing that Amber did what she did to
God.
Dewey, like that's asinine, dude. There's no way Amber did that to Dewey.
No.
So like you can make those arguments for most movies, but the original 96, like there's no argument with Billy and Stu, man. Like
Not at all.
they were the perfect duo.
Yeah. 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 Amen, Conrad. Like honestly, I feel like when it comes to if somebody was like, yo, I'm gonna sit down, okay, aside from the first one, I mean, like even like this is what I'm talking about. Like the first one's great because I don't want to like dilute it too much, like watching it too much. But like if I was literally just gonna sit down and watch a Scream film, I'm probably watching the third. Like I like it. It's so rewatchable. It's just fun. I like the soundtrack with it and everything. Actually, the soundtrack and the first 3 are fucking awesome. Honestly, yeah.
The setting of 3 is cool because it's like getting out of Woodsboro. It's different, but then you're there with the set still, so it's kind of.
Yep. It's
Speaking
kind
of
of like
soundtracks, like I mean, I love that song "Red Right Hand," but on the original one, I love how they use that slow version of "Don't Fear the Reaper" when Billy climbs into her window. And
right
it's
at
like
the beginning.
and like the foreshadowing, of like "Don't Fear the Reaper," and it's Billy Loomis who's the killer climbing into her window at the same time.
Yep.
Like it's just the
So
soundtracks are perfect, and the way they use them is just it's awesome.
Yep. I totally agree. And like honestly, at first, like I almost like didn't even catch like when I was younger that song was even playing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was up until I was like older where I'm like, oh man, they got Blue Oyster Cult playing in the background. Like that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That movie or that song is in a lot of horror movies, man. A lot.
Mhm.
But that makes sense. So yeah.
They used it in Ends at the end
Yeah.
of Ends,
Yep.
the OG version.
Yep.
What's your guys' thoughts on I know it's in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Would you guys like that film or not really? The first one?
I don't like the Rob Zombie Halloweens.
Not.
It was worse
No.
than the first one, but they both are. I can't.
I can dig the first one. Scout Taylor Compton is pretty good, and like I dig the eeriness and like the vibe in the first one, but the third act just is so long. It's so drawn out. I'm like, dude, what is happening? Like, why is this taking so long? Like, you know what I mean? Second one,
I also don't like when people like remake movies and they change too much, just like about the character. Like if those 2 movies were its own standalone film and Rob Zombie created his own slasher, I probably would have enjoyed them more.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You know,
A lot of people say like maybe if he would have done TCM instead, I think that would have made a lot of sense. Honestly, I do remember when 2007 came out. It, like to me, when I went and saw it in theaters, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then when the second one came out, I'm like, "Oh man, this is bad. Like, what is he doing here?" Like, didn't make a lot of sense. But yeah. Now 2018, on the other hand, holy shit! Like to me, what Scream was in 1996 for me to like kind of mold and start my like okay, I grew up watching Halloween and Chucky and Puppet Master and stuff like that, but like up until then, I had never seen like a film like Scream. And then you got like Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like that kind of slasher film like molded like my fandom. Like honestly, it did. And then like it was like up until 2018 came out, like for slashers, it just like they just weren't there. And when that came out, it was like such a refreshing fucking just take on slashers. I was so excited. And then I don't know if you guys saw X. I loved X. I thought it was such a throwback vibe for a slasher.
No, I like X. I haven't seen Pearl though, but I did like X.
I don't know why I haven't finished Pearl. We watched it like one time and I got like 60% of the way through and then I missed the third act. So I'll have to watch it again. But yeah, I do have hope for slashers here in the future, obviously with 6 coming out and stuff. And yeah, easily my favorite, most excited about film of the year. I wasn't huge into the Evil Dead series, but definitely Evil Dead Rise looks good. So yeah, pretty stoked about it. But so what's your guys' biggest like takeaway from Scream 96? Like what where I guess where do you guys rate it on like maybe your favorite films of all time?
96 is, it moves around, but it's in my top 10 of all time, and it's in my top 5 for horror.
Top 2 for me.
What is
With
your number?
Halloween 78. Well, both of them. I kind of flip 78 and Scream because they're so different, but I just love them both so much.
Nice.
When I make a top, I mean, I love horror movies of all different types. So like, I guess depending on my mood, sometimes things can move around. Halloween 78, Scream 96, and Jeepers Creepers 1. Those 3 are always in my top 5. The last 2 spots they move around.
Cool.
Killer Clowns has been in there multiple times for sure. I love that movie.
Love it. Nice. Are you guys familiar or fans of The Blob?
I like The Blob.
Yeah, Blob's cool.
It has it's like a crossover of like The Thing and Killer Clowns. It's weird. Like it's kind of cool. Like it's man, the practical effects in that movie are fucking awesome. Like they're just really cool. It took me a while to actually sit down and watch. Tubi is the greatest thing ever, man. I've discovered so many awesome horror films because of Tubi. It's awesome.
Same with Shudder.
Shudder's good.
Just being able to turn on Shudder and find movies you've never heard of before, like it's pretty crazy.
I need to get a subscription to Shudder. Like I've heard it's like really good stuff. Nice. Okay, so my bad. Before we end, so if Halloween 78 is your guys' top, like what is the difference? What's the separator? Like why do you guys prefer that film over 96? And
well, like I said, mine flip flop, so mine just depends on my mood. I can't really rate 78 or Scream. They're so different though. Scream is more comedy, meta. 78 is just more tense and.
Yeah, I think for me it's just
kind of
because
like this, I guess.
78 was the first horror movie that I watched that got me into horror. Like that was
love it.
That's what started it all for me. So that always kind of gives it a little edge, over the other movies, just because it's so iconic to me. It's the original thing that got me going. I mean, it's a great movie. The way it's shot, the score, like the whole movie is great. There's a lot of things that I enjoy from Scream 96 that Halloween doesn't have. Like Scream 6, like we talked about, it's got so much. Like the whole movie is just, it's amazing how good they did with it. But
it's true.
I always say that Michael Myers is my favorite slasher, but I like the Scream franchise over the Halloween franchise.
Me too.
Yeah, Halloween is less consistent, but it's still damn good. Halloween's franchise is still really damn good. I love Mav saying, I'm watching Tubi right now, no doubt. May says Tubi comes in clutch all the time, no doubt. I like this though. Extron says, yeah, Scream 96 revived the horror genre. Halloween 2018 brought back slashers and made them popular again. I totally agree. And that's why I appreciate that 2018 film so much. Michael Joe apparently doesn't like it too much, but hey, man, Mike, that's all good, man. No doubt. No doubt. So the great thing about Halloween 78, my bad, I know we're going on almost like an hour and a half here. Thing with 78, like it's such a simple film, and I think that's why it's such a damn good film. It's just so simple, but so effing good. It's just simplicity at its finest. Like literally what Randy says, like, if you get to, what does he say? If you get too complicated or something, you lose your core audience. You know what I mean? Like it's such a simple film, but so well done. And I gotta agree, Larry, like literally Halloween 1 and 2 were probably some of my first films I ever watched, like in horror. Like I think The Child's Plays my brother was a huge Chucky fan. It was weird. It was just like with Jaws. Like with me, I was so afraid of Jaws, but yet so intrigued. And my brother was the same with Child's Play. He was so afraid of it, but yet like so intrigued. So I grew up like watching Child's Play all the time. And Halloween 78 was just always on, man. I think I watched Halloween 2 a little bit more than the first, but USA always around Halloween time. My birthday's October 26th. So around my birthday, they were always playing USA, Halloween, and Child's Play. Like it was just always what they were playing. So I don't know. I grew up watching those two a lot also. So I do appreciate 78 a lot. But yeah, I mean, we don't need to get into it, but I do very much appreciate the Halloween franchise, like hands down, like no question. So when it comes to Ghostface, how iconic do you think he is? Like aside, like is he like the next person after the Holy Trinity? Like is he right after Michael, Jason, and Freddy?
I put him for sure.
He's in there. I don't think he's after the Trinity for me. You know, he's
with
in
them.
there with them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like if it was Mount, if it was Mount Rushmore, and you were like, I would definitely have him in the Mount Rushmore. Yeah. Well, my personal one's probably different from the Holy Trinity, but like I think if it's the Holy Trinity and then that next person, I think it's Ghostface. Yeah,
he needs to be there with them. Absolutely.
Chucky's right there. You know, the Creeper's right there. You know, Pinhead's right there. But I think he's just like. He's it. Like, I mean, it's just like, I feel like he was our Freddy for our generation, like for sure. So, yeah.
Definitely.
No doubt. All righty. Well, man, I appreciate you guys hopping on here with me tonight. I appreciate it.
It was fun, man,
awesome film to break down. Like I'm honestly getting really excited for this, sixth film. And I just love this franchise. I love how consistent it is. I just love, like I said, I love the whodunit. They just really hit a home run with this franchise. It's just the score's good, the writing's good, the characters are good. It's just all around. It's really well done. Some of the storylines and some of the, reveals aren't, maybe the best, but like they're still pretty good, like compared to like a lot of the other franchises and stuff. So yeah. Okay. I guess I will say this. I appreciate you, May, for tuning in with us. I appreciate you being in the chat. Thank you. What are you guys' thoughts on this? And it's all good, Mike. Like where are you guys maybe seeing 6 kind of lay out if you had to guess?
It's always possible that it flops. I don't think Scream 6 is going to flop nearly as hard as Ends did.
Yes, Larry.
But I'm excited for this one. When I first watched Scream 5, there was a lot of things I was unhappy with. So walking out of the theater for Scream 5, I almost felt like that was a flop.
Yeah, me too.
After watching it a few more times and
I couldn't get past
getting past Amber being the killer and Dewey dying, once I got over that, the movie's great. So sometimes it takes a few watches to really appreciate a movie for what it is. Because there's little things that might happen that just doesn't sit well with you. But I think overall, I'm expecting Scream 6 to be a great movie. Like I think it's gonna be my top 6 Scream movies.
They can do stuff. I'm afraid they're gonna do something. I'm afraid they're gonna do something to piss off fans. I have a worry just because it ends. I don't know, PTSD, whatever. But I just feel like they're gonna do something to make us mad.
I love it. PTSD, let's go.
And I'm a little nervous.
I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Ends. I appreciate it, Matt. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And again, great stream last night, man. That was a fun watch party, man. I'll definitely be there for. I work for 3, but I'll definitely be there for the other ones for sure, no doubt. So okay. Again, we'll make this really quick. So again, like when Ends was coming out, I was always a little bit more excited for Scream 6. Like I literally said it a boatload of times. Like I'm huge into Halloween. I was ready for Ends. I loved how we dove into what we thought was going to play out, how we thought it was going to play out. Loved all of that. But I was like, man, I just can't wait for Scream 6. There was a guy, and I don't want to put his name out there. He was on a stream naming off his, and I do love his input and his opinions, but you know, I was okay. I'm not totally against ends. I literally just said that I thought some of the writing was not the best storyline. I don't know. It's whatever. It is. It is what it is. But he said that I would just, people that didn't like ends just weren't smart enough to get it. And I was like, dude, there's no
I feel
way
like
that
I
that
saw
is.
a comment like that.
There's
Yeah.
no way that that is true. I got what they were going for in that film. Like I got it, man. Like I totally did.
like it.
I just, I
Like,
mean,
dude, I loved Corey, the Corey character was a
exactly.
great
Oh
character.
yeah,
You know, I
Andy
Thor.
Manichek. Like I just
There was a lot of great things to it, but the portrayal of Michael was done wrong, dude.
dude. Conrad had said we
So
had
good.
James Jude Courtney as like probably the best portrayal of Michael Myers in like forever, and that's his third way, and that's like the way you're gonna send him out is like that. And I'm not gonna lie, that third act, like when he's fighting Lori in the kitchen, it's pretty good. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not bad, but it's just like you just wanted more of him in that film. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
we
like
needed more.
even like I don't know, it just I didn't mind it, I guess, but like I just felt like they could have done like Corey in like a different like universe or something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or like I just like
They
I don't
missed the
know.
mark with a lot of things, man. Even little details, like Nick Castle's cameo.
Oh,
And he's
God.
like a flasher at a
Holy
party.
shit, you're
Nick
right.
Castle, Nick Castle should have been the homeless guy that
Yeah.
said, "I'm Michael Myers."
That should have been
It
him.
would have been the perfect cameo for him, but instead he's just some random old dude at a party that like is like a flasher. Like that was ridiculous, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then
Little things like that, just I don't know what they were thinking.
yeah, oh man, I just thought it was the writing. I just thought the writing was somewhat cheesy. It was a rom-com, dude, and I'm like,
It
okay,
was.
like
It was a
it
rom
was
com.
just
It was
it was
kind of
just
thrown together. I feel like it was rushed. I feel like
I will say the junkyard kills were legit.
Those
I
were
like
legit
They were
fucking
very
scene.
great.
I loved it.
Mhm.
I love how the guards sitting there watching Hard Target, you know what I mean? And like just that junkyard scene is awesome. But literally the thing that it was like right when it started, you have the thing that happens to the little kid, and then it goes to Corey in the junkyard. I literally leaned over to Dace and I'm like, that's how they're gonna kill Michael. He's gonna go into the shredder, I guarantee it. And
yeah, when they
literally
showed the like shredder thing, they did like
On the
an
intro.
aerial of it. I was like,
They
oh my
showed
god,
it-
this is foreshadowing. Like I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
knew.
yeah,
They
literally
focused
right
on
when
it
they
way
showed
too
it, you
much.
were like, oh,
Showed
that's
it
how they're
way
gonna
too
kill
much.
him. That's exactly how they're gonna
All
kill
the
him. I
get
literally
go.
leaned over and I'm like, that's how they're killing him right there.
But you know what? I still thought he was going to put up more of a fight against Lori, though. I didn't think she was just going to like stake him to the table and slit his
Okay,
head.
the fight wasn't that bad, and when she sticks him, it's kind of cool. But then all of a sudden, when he reaches up and grabs her by the neck, and then Andy Manichek runs in there and breaks his arm, I'm just like,
Oh
dude,
my
what the hell is going on? I'm like, this is not happening.
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. I don't know, but it's all
Get him
good. I mean,
dirty.
I'm not saying it's the I'm not there's no way that I'm going to sit there and be like, "Oh, I freaking hate that film. I hate like what they did for the fans and stuff like that." There's way worse films out there. The cinematography is awesome, the score is awesome. There's some
Yeah.
really good scenes in that film. Corey's, his portrayal and in his role was really good. I just didn't understand like the storyline really, to be honest, but I think 6 is going to probably be better than Ends. I'm just going to put it out there. I think it's going to be.
I'm just worried that Megan did so well, and I think that movie's amazing. 10 out of 10 for me. So Scream 6 has like a tough act to follow. I feel like because Megan, I feel like set the bar really high for this year. And
Speaking of Megan, I got to bring up May's comment. The unrated version is coming out soon, and we are so excited for that.
On Peacock. Nice. Is
Megan
it
was when they originally filmed Megan, it was filmed for a rated R movie. There was a lot more kills, a lot more gore, and then because the trailer blew up so huge, they dumbed it down to a PG-13 so they can reach a wider audience and get like all the teens and kids and stuff to watch the movie. But it was originally filmed as a much gorier rated R film, so I'm real excited to see that.
I'm so excited.
Nice. I do have Peacock, so I'll definitely end up watching it. I actually thought before the stream, I thought somebody had said it was on Prime now, like for free,
Yeah.
but
We had to buy it.
okay, gotcha. Okay. I'll
It's not
definitely
there
wait.
for a couple weeks.
Yeah, nice. Dude, Extron, totally agree. Yeah, I don't know why some fans that say that they don't like a film that all of a sudden that means you don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, and I'm not saying. And so this person was saying that that was his favorite film of the year. Which, hey, man, that's awesome. Like, if you enjoyed it like a lot, I guess like for me, it just wasn't the Halloween that I was kind of expecting to end that trilogy, especially. Like, I just thought the trilogy, like the way that they had built it up, I was like, okay. Honestly, I think that okay, looking at it, here's a question, and we'll kind of end it on this. What do you guys think about 2018 just being a standalone? Like, what if Michael just died
Like
in the
if they
fire?
never did any sequels after and he just died
Yeah.
in the fire, still
So,
would have been okay.
I was like, I think 2018 would have been a good ending for Lori to win.
yeah,
Yes,
think
exactly.
Bill-
It could have been.
Bill would have been a good ending
for
for
Michael
Michael
to
to win.
Yep,
If they
Yep.
would have stopped at either one of those movies, I would have been
me
okay.
too.
I did not like the way they ended it with ends.
No,
Yep,
it's wrong.
I totally agree. Actually, kills grew on me a lot. Actually, man, they just hit a home run with Michael in that film. Like, it was awesome, like just awesome. But yeah, I would like the more and more I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, 18 could have just been awesome by itself. But
Yeah.
again, maybe ends will grow on me. Like, I don't know, but
Well, it's like Mav said, like it's not what they promoted. They promoted
Exactly.
the huge epic battle between Michael and Lori.
Yeah.
The final showdown.
They duped us.
And then it was this big Corey story, and then Michael
Big
and Lori fought for a little bit at the end.
Corey and
It's a Corey
Andy
story, man.
rom-com. It was just like, it was like, as like the whole rom-com thing was happening, I'm just like, when is this gonna get like amped up a little bit? Like, what is going on? Like, we're all just like sitting here waiting, and then when I see him just like manhandling Michael and the thing, and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, if the essence of evil that was in him was dying down, and then he kills a couple people, and then it's supposed to build back up, and then he gets manhandled by Corey, like, it doesn't really make any sense, because
Right.
I don't even know. It
wasn't consistent, because when
it
he
wasn't
killed
consistent.
when he killed that girl, like he was like almost running. He held her up on the wall with
That was
one
badass.
hand, stabbed her so hard that she stuck to the wall.
Mhm.
Like he was back. He was strong. He was back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
And then-
weak again after
And then
that.
Corey, who's getting bullied by some band kids, like, all of a sudden manhandling. Like,
I can't.
No, I totally agree. And like, I totally agree, man. I'm just like, man, no, that's actually the best way of putting it. It just actually wasn't very consistent throughout the whole film. Definitely. Definitely. Yep. Yeah, very, very cheesy at times, and just, it's all good, man. They'll come up with something down the road for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah, a couple years.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys being on here, man. Thank you guys so very much. Very
Well,
much
thanks for having me.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody in the comments and in the chat tonight. You guys definitely made the stream awesome. Definitely. And I'm glad you guys love Scream and Halloween and all of these movies just as much as we do. Like, it's really awesome. But other than that, do you guys got anything you guys are doing or want to talk about or anything? Or
not much, man. Just looking forward to the rest of these movies we have coming up this year.
Mhm.
Scream 6 obviously is top. We have we're actually really excited for that Cocaine Bear movie that's coming out soon.
I think a lot of people are, yeah, actually.
Good.
And then there's like The Nun 2, there's the new Exorcist, like there's a lot of movies this year. Evil Dead, like
We're getting spoiled again already, but like, I dig it. Like, for some odd reason, like, even Dace, like, she wasn't much into horror films up until we met and stuff. I mean, a little bit here and there, but then like, it's just weird how like horror is just like taking over like cinema. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, to me, it's like, I don't know, like the go-to now or something, but I dig it. Like, I honestly, like, I thought 2022 was a hell of a year for freaking horror, and now it's like pretty much the same thing taking place in 23. So I'm really interested to see what David Gordon Green does as kind of like a response from Ends to The Exorcist. Like, it'll be interesting for sure.
yeah.
Like, I think I saw on like Mojo or something like that, they were saying that was easily the most anticipated film of the year. So that's pretty dope. When is that supposed to come out? Like late year or like
I don't remember
What,
the
October or something?
date. Yeah, I think it's close to Halloween time.
nice? That'll be
I think
sick.
so.
That'll be sick. Nice. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we are actually doing a stream tomorrow night. I haven't quite decided whether it's going to be like 7 or 8, but I'll have Conrad on. I might have Dominic Sinclair on, and another one of my buddies, Buck, might be on. So again, we're
Nice.
just going to talk about Scream 6 and kind of some other stuff. It's again, I'm kind of scared because I just don't want to see anything that, you know what I mean? Like it's like with ends, like it was like you wanted to like get into the streams and all the good talk and stuff like that, but it was like you almost kind of didn't want to at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's a different kind of balance, but yeah, I don't know. Other than that, we just kind of going to talk about films that we've been watching of late and stuff like that. So anything good that you guys have watched like of late that maybe you guys like, is there like you guys watch any like interesting films like lately or anything that are kind of like maybe different or something?
No, we've been watching a lot of shows lately.
Yeah, like
Actually,
TV shows.
Nice.
like that one we talked about when we first saw Jenna Ortega, that show You came back out, so we watched that
Last week.
I did finally get around to watching Sick. That one was pretty good.
Oh, I like
Nice.
that one.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
that
you
one-
guys like that. Nice. Yeah. Sick.
Oh.
To me, I only watched it the one time, but I should definitely watch it again. A lot of throwback vibe to it. I definitely dug it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'll let you guys get out of here. Again, appreciate you guys having, coming on here and everything. And again, appreciate all you guys in the chat. Thank you very much. I will be back on tomorrow night, and we will see you then for sure.
Bye.
All right, see
Thank
you
you
guys
guys. Later.
later.